All right, guys, welcome back to the Canadian Real Estate Homefront Podcast. This is episode 35. Before we get started, there is a link down below if you want to book a buyer or seller call with us. We've got a lot of people from the podcast reach out to us.
So fun.
It's been so fun. So it's totally free. It's a Zoom call. We just go over what you're kind of looking to do and what your goals are, and you get to know us better. So there's no pushy sales tactics or anything like that. It's just a quick half-hour Zoom call and see if you want to work with us.
Excellent.
That was
Good.
good, eh? Also, if you're on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Also, if you're on Apple Podcast or Spotify, please leave us a review. We're trying to get those reviews higher.
Mm-hmm.
You sent them to me, and I've been lacking on asking people for that.
I know.
But anyways, without further ado, let's get into this podcast.
Welcome me back.
Oh yeah, Brooke's back.
Cortez did a solo podcast last week.
Yeah.
I want to hear how that went.
20 minutes of me talking is not a lot of fun. I did not like that. Thank God I have a co-host.
How many views are on Apple Podcasts?
I think so. Yeah, I don't really follow that too much. I follow more like the YouTube ones. Yeah.
I'm just joking. They would be just as high.
Oh, you think? Oh, yeah, maybe.
You're the data guy.
Yeah, I am the data guy, so go to that.
What do you got for us today, Cortez?
All right. Did you want to read the first one?
Sure thing.
It's pretty cool.
It is. Well, okay.
You don't think it's cool?
Yeah, no, it's
Okay.
kind of cool. It's just interesting. Canada revives wartime home strategy to address housing crisis. I didn't even hear about this, which is interesting. I wonder where you dug it up. So Justin Trudeau's government is cracking open the history books for its latest attempt to address a severe housing shortage in Canada. The government is moving forward with a catalog of pre-approved home designs to reduce the cost and time it takes to build housing. The idea dates back to the 1940s when thousands of soldiers returned from the Second World War and needed a place to live. The new program will differ from the wartime strategy in some key ways, however. Between the 1940s and 1960s, a catalog of simple designs allowed for as many as 1 million wood-framed detached houses, known as victory houses or strawberry box homes, to be built across the country. Fraser said his government is seeking designs that add density, such as multiplexes, mid-rises, seniors' homes, student housing, garden suites, and laneway homes. The catalog will feature multiple designs in each category to give communities flexibility, he added. Back in the wartime era, the government also created a federal agency to construct the homes, which eventually became the Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation.
Isn't this some cool history? Yeah, CMHC was created because they needed to build homes back in the day. Like, isn't that so cool?
Yeah, but like, I don't know. I don't know if that's going to work. I think this is just like an...
Well, what it does is that Mike Moffat, who's a big like housing economist or whatever, it speeds up process times by 12 months. So it will help because time is money.
Right.
And so what's going to happen
is... So
is...
you go into a catalog and you're like, I want that. And then does it get mortgaged? Like, how does it work?
Yeah, like the CMHC will like fund it. It haven't like fully released it yet, but CMHC will help fund it. So like say you want to build a laneway house in your backyard, right?
Oh, you pick
the catalog because it's already been pre-approved. So you say, I want XYZ in my backyard, and then it's approved, and then you can get to work.
You can get funding on the build.
And you can get funding on the build.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's really cool. You know how we always talk about like there's a buzzword in real estate when you go and you show older homes in Hamilton or even like Central Oakville as an example, you say this is a wartime home.
Yeah.
And generally what it is, it's like a 3-bedroom, 1-bath bungalow, very small. Maybe 800 to 1,100 square feet with a basement.
Yeah.
And yeah, those were picked out during the war times when we had millions of soldiers coming back from the war. And that's what they're going to implement. Although, the wartime, there's tougher people than us, but now they're going to do the same thing to address this housing crisis. So, everyone's saying that the housing crisis is only going to get worse. I don't think it's going to get better in the next 5 years per se, but they're doing things, right? They're banning Airbnbs. They're banning foreign investors. They're going to cap international students, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
And now they're doing, this idea of having the wartime effort come in. And Mike Moffat is not in politics.
Right.
And he went to Congress for kind of this, in this meeting that they had. And he recommended them look into this.
Huh.
And they did it. And they're going to do it, which is cool.
Huh.
Yeah.
Hey, I actually don't even hate that idea.
I know.
So, okay, but then... For example, Hamilton allows for these garden suites and laneway houses, okay? They've passed that, so now you're allowed. So then places with detached garages became more expensive or more desirable because they're like, okay, eventually I'm going to build a laneway house or I'm going to have that as a garden suite. So in that sense, when there's already a structure there to get it all done in the permits and going through that process, do we need to demolish that and then put one of their pre-designed ones, or?
Probably, I would say yes, unless there was some sort of code where the garage was made up to it. But
and is there a premium? Like, where are they coming up with the numbers? Because obviously, to build a house, right now is actually probably like think about how much it costs to build right now. Like
a lot.
It's up there, right?
250 to $300 a square foot, probably.
Right. So it's actually kind of higher than what you can buy some houses for in Hamilton. Like, you can't build it for the same price that you can buy it. So where are they getting their pricing? Are they
who's pricing? This is just the permit process.
Oh, so you hire your own contractors?
It's yeah.
Actually done
this is just
government.
No. This is just like, we'll give you the funding from CMHC. You're gonna pick the design that we've already approved, and then you're gonna hire the contractor, or you, the contractor yourself, are gonna build it.
And then you make sure that you followed the design, or is there city inspectors? Like,
probably, yeah. Like, there's probably like a city inspector that checks up on it, and basically just like a new build, a city inspector comes in and makes sure that you follow the architectural design. I don't know, maybe if you slipped them an extra 100, you might look past something. No, but I think it's cool. Remember we were talking about permit processes taking so long, and how it would be cool if we had AI and you would put in the permit process and the AI would just check it off. Well, now there's like, it's not quite AI, but it's like, now it's like
complicated.
Yeah. But now it's like a process where it's, if you want to build your own garden suite and you want to design it, you still can. It's just going to take a lot longer than if you pick the strawberry house or whatever they say.
They're going to start making houses out of like crazy materials, AI, and like picking them up and like plopping them in people's backyards. It's going to be
cool.
It's going to
3D printing.
Yeah.
Robots are going to start
3D printing a house. Can you imagine? Out of like materials that we weren't able to really use before.
Yeah. It'll be cool.
This is a recycled house.
Remember that technology is deflationary. There's a point in our lives where we never thought we could hit a button on our phone and someone would come and pick us up downstairs in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
So these things happen faster than you think, and they just become the norm. So let's hope that building houses faster will become the norm.
Interesting.
Next topic.
That is so interesting.
I know, it's cool. I don't know why it's not making headlines, but hopefully we make it.
I didn't see it. I read that when
it's very new.
I was like, what is he talking about?
Yeah, it's very new. So it's cool. Yeah. I think it'll be awesome.
All right.
Okay, you did a video on this. BC to allow new zoning. So I thought we'd dive into this a little bit more on the pod, because there's like a lot of NIMBYism.
NIMBYism.
Not in my backyard. People. It was so funny because I'm like reading the comments and people are just like, yeah, that's what we should do. Cram more people into shoe boxes. It's like, has no one looked around the city to see that everyone already lives in a shoebox? Like, what are we talking about? So anyways, let's talk about this. So basically what BC has done is they've eliminated single family zoning. And what I mean by that is you can still build a single family house. Like, people are like, that's stupid. Like, you can't build a single family home anymore. Yeah, you 100% can. But single family lots can now be built into different zoning. So let's say, here's one: all single family zoning must allow one secondary suite. So if you want your grandmother to move in the backyard, or you have a teenager and you want to build them a suite in the back, or you want to just build it in the back and have extra rental income, you're allowed to do that on any BC lot. All single family zoning must now allow for a minimum of 3 units on a 3,000 square foot lot or less. And then a minimum of 4 units on lots 3,000 square feet or larger, a minimum of 6 units if it's within 400 meters of a bus stop, a minimum of a 3-story building height, and there's a lot more to it. But I think that people are really losing it, because they're like, if I have a $5 million house, why am I going to want a 6-unit
beside me?
Yeah. But that economics doesn't make sense. Right? Like, you're not going to, like, people aren't going to like flock towards like this neighborhood, like Old Oakville as an example. Like, if you put a 6-plex in Old Oakville, like, you're probably not going to attract 6 tenants where it makes sense. Like, you're going to have to spend $2.5 million for the lot. Then you're going to build and you're going to get $2,000 a month for each of these.
Funny. There's there's a 5-plex in Old Oakville for sale right now.
Is it really?
And I sent it to my sister and I was like, this is sick. So there's literally 5 units on a big lot. And there's like this big coach house. And like, I'm like, each unit would get, because they're big, would get like $2,500 in that location.
Yeah.
So I wonder why they're selling. But yeah, it's not like there's like a university or a school. The demographic is a lot older. So to get tenants,
it's a little tougher.
Yeah.
Like you might be able to get away with
small because that type of location, you're getting the families or the, downsizers.
You're getting people who want to build it
bigger space,
who have $3 million to buy a lot, and then they're going to spend $2.5 million to make their dream home. Like they're like, you need to think that investors are going to buy somewhere where it's a little bit cheaper. Say, I know Oakville is not the best example, but say near Sheridan College.
Where do you find a 3,000 square foot lot though? What is that? 30 by 100?
Yeah, it's probably
or
not. 30 by 100. Yeah.
Yeah. So where do you get a 100-foot lot?
It's actually not that.
I know. Yeah. Right. No, you're right. 3,000 square feet.
It's not that big.
But right now, to get that, like in Toronto, like that's first of all very expensive. Like a 3,000 square foot lot in Toronto. You rarely find it in Hamilton.
Yeah, I wish we could compare this to BC, but I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. So we're talking to GTA because like a lot of lots. Even like just the typical one that I would like sell, it's like 75 feet deep is big. Like 100 feet deep is like you have a good lot. That's a really good lot.
Yeah. Like a lot of them in Oakville are 60 by 120. A lot of them in Old Oakville are 50 by 150.
Yes. I do a lot in Hamilton. A lot of them are just 50.
Yeah. 50 frontage. Yeah. 50 by 100. Seen a few.
It doesn't go back 100 often. 75 to 90.
Yeah.
So that would allow.
Still near 3,000 square feet, which would allow for 4 units.
Interesting. I don't even know my lot size. I know my one house is definitely not 100 feet deep, but it has a wide frontage.
Yeah, yours would definitely. But anyways, this hasn't come to Ontario yet, so we're getting sidetracked. But this is just in BC right now. So basically, there's no more single family zoning. They want density. And this is going to go into effect, I believe, June 30th of 2024. And they're saying that all municipalities need to update their zoning requirements for this to happen. So again, interest rates are high. The economy isn't great. So don't expect this just to happen overnight. But as interest rates fall, as things start to pencil and make more sense, this will allow investors and will allow people who even, live, near transit to actually think about, hey, maybe I should make more units here. Maybe I should, invest more money here. But one caveat is that if you live near a transit station and you're able to build a 20-unit apartment, you might get forced to sell because they're going to tax you at the highest and best use of that property. So if it's single family now, but you can build 20 condos on it or 20 units, you're going to get taxed to the 20 units.
That's ridiculous.
It's a little weird. I don't know.
Nice.
I read that and I was like, oof, that's not nice.
It's not.
It's not nice. No. So I wonder what's going to happen there for some people. Cause that tax bill would be insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like think about like my taxes right now on one house is 50 something hundred.
Yeah.
Can you imagine your tax bill just coming out of the 50 grand a month?
I even think my condo is like $4,000 a month and it's a condo.
Ridiculous.
I don't even own land. I just own this piece of air in the sky.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. So usually what happens, and we've seen a lot of legislation happen in BC first,
and then Ontario,
they're very progressive, and Ontario follows suit. So I would bet, if I was a betting man, that they are going to do the same thing in Ontario probably next year. I wouldn't be shocked.
There's a bus stop outside of one of my houses.
6 units. Call your dad, your sister, you, your other sister.
To all live together?
Abby can have a house.
You can have the couch house.
There we go.
Abby is my dog, if you were wondering.
Little wiener dog.
Interesting. All right. Well, let's continue to follow.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
The comments. I didn't even look at the comments because I said, should we do this in Ontario? And then I saw people commenting, and I was like,
you know what? A lot of people are like, this is forceful, but you're not forcing anyone. You can still build a single family home. Like there's nothing forceful.
Well, you're forcing the one person out of their house to charge them that high in tax, which I don't like.
Yeah.
I don't like that kind of decision making. I'm all for allowing more density and allowing for multiple units if you so want it.
Exactly. If the demand is there and people want to rent.
But don't force somebody out of their house. Don't be mean.
That thing sucks. That part sucks, but it is what it is. I think that's a small price to pay for more units and more stuff available.
Yeah.
To the public and to young people.
Well,
because
put it this way too. If you're getting taxed at all, we can't feel too bad for them, because if your lot is deemed, hey, you can build 20 houses here, your lot tripled in price.
Probably more. Your lot went from $1 million to
actually not
4 or 5 million. So
now that I think about it, you actually
you're retiring early, and then you're gonna go get a nice little off to the sunset Sunday drives with your wife.
I'm okay with it now. Interesting. Yeah, I think Ontario always follows what BC does. Usually.
Yeah, 100%. So it's cool. I think that it's good for density. It's good for young people. All the boomers out there that love their home and they love all their privacy and everything like that. It's probably going to change. Hey, it sucks, but hey, guess what? Your kids might actually have a chance to live close to you, and you get to see your grandchildren. So be happy about that.
Yeah.
Next topic.
Cool. What do we got now?
We got a couple good topics. So yeah, you say this next one because you are the real estate bull.
The real estate bull?
No, not always, but.
Okay. Canadian mortgage rates peaked, won't go back to 2019 levels, says BMO. North American interest rate hikes are now largely out of the picture, and rate cuts are the new story. Aggressive easing is already expected, with the Bank of Canada forecast to cut by 100 basis points in 2024, with the first 25 basis point cut in April. In recent days, the 5-year BoC yield has already printed a decline of 100 basis points since peaking in October. That means the 5-year fixed-rate mortgages are likely to follow in the coming months as funding costs move lower, too. BMO believes fixed-term mortgage rates with a 4 handle is when affordability might improve. Those waiting for a mortgage rate that starts with a 2 might be disappointed. We continue to believe that the neutral rate is higher than the past decade, so eventual rate cuts should ultimately land at a higher floor.
Yeah, so I think that's kind of what we've been, spewing on this podcast. So U.S. inflation came in today, too. Our big brother, and it was 3.1. So almost in that 2% range, which is good. The U.S. economy is still growing a lot quicker than us. So I still am under the consensus that Canada is going to have a harder economic time than the U.S. Just is what it is.
Look at even just if you follow anybody that follows social media and For You page comes up about this stuff. Like, it's almost like a running joke that people in Canada, it's like, why are we even here? Like, this is not.
It is.
Like, everyone's struggling in Canada right
now. Everyone is struggling.
Yeah.
It's hard to find good news. That's why I actually put this in here, because rates are in the 6s. So when we are helping clients right now, and we're helping people kind of find duplexes in Hamilton, we're running their pro formas at a 6 rate.
Yeah.
And what we also do for them is then we run it in 2 years, where we're kind of guessing 2 to 3 years that those rates will be in the 4s. So we're running it now where it's barely just cash flow positive, or you're breaking even.
Yeah, which is still crazy to buy with these interest rates and still be cash flow even, or even cash flow positive $50 with having one of our expenses as a reserve in case anything comes up.
Yeah, we still bring a reserve, like $80 to $100 a month.
Yeah.
Put away,
to break even is good because the prices are so cheap. Like, some of them on some streets in Hamilton are halved. Like, you can get for $650 now, and duplex are going for 1.2 in the peak. So if you can just sit on it for a little while. I just had a client buy one in Hamilton, a duplex, and he's pretty much breaking even, a little bit of cash flow, but the goal isn't cash flow. The goal is to grow your equity. And he took a variable, and that was his mortgage broker's suggestion, which I see. I just said, like, be careful, like, watch what's going on in the world because there's so much volatility. But he took a variable because rates are supposed to come down next year. So then we ran it at, if they do decline 100 basis points, how much projected your house should go up a little bit, with a little bit of forced value that he's doing, forced appreciation, plus the decrease in rate, where you should expect your house value to be at, and what your cash flow should be. And that's only going to be 6 months away. So I actually tell people that now is kind of like a little bit of a sweet time, especially if you're getting even a better deal than what the list price is posted at.
For sure. I think it's cool that we run it at a 6, then we run it at a 4, and just say, hey, you can look at a fixed rate right now, you can lock in for 2 years, and then you can even run it at a 5, and then you can see the difference in cash flow when rates come down, because as rates have probably peaked right now, like, I think everyone's on the same page with that, and no guarantees.
I think
something crazy could happen.
There'll be a what do they call it? A protest. If they raise rates again, Canada, I'm scared.
Yeah.
It's going to
There's actually a petition for Justin Trudeau to resign, and it was the most signed petition in Canadian history.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
You signed it?
Producer Nick.
Producers told us he signed.
I will plead the I'll plead the fifth if I signed it or not.
That's so funny. I didn't see this.
But yeah, it's I think that this was really good because we give the bear case and the bull case for Canadian real estate, and we do it to our clients.
Yeah.
We say, here's the bear, here's the bull. You take the information and decide.
Yeah, it's pretty clear cut what we run. And that's why we do spreadsheets, because things become so much more objective than they do subjective, because any realtor will want to sell you a house. But when it becomes investment focused real estate, which I very much do, it's so much more objective because it's data driven and you can't fight clear data in front of you.
Numbers don't lie.
Numbers don't lie. Yeah. And I've done it with success, like obviously with risk, but very calculated risk, very successfully. And that's why I like this type of real estate, because when you build out the pro formas, it's like, oh my God, Cortez, that's a really good one. And it's like,
it'll tell you, yes, it's a cash flow and buy it. Say, no, it's not.
And we look at what the street used to be in the peak and like where the value could go to, we look what's at the around it, you know? And then.
And we do say, look, rates are not going back to COVID lows. Like they're probably going to be in the 4s, which is like, BMO actually like says it too now. Like this is like a big bank. So, you know, hey, might not go back to 2 where things were 1.2, 1.3 million, but
eventually
it might. Yeah. There's no guarantee, but it might.
Maybe not.
But you'll have a cash flowing asset
with inflation,
with pay down. You'll have an asset with pay down, and it will
principal pay down is a huge factor in running an investment.
That's in the pro forma too. If you want the pro forma, DM us.
Yeah, our pro forma is a fillable link.
Pretty good.
And you fill in the rents, the expenses, and we can take you through it on how to run it. But it spits out your numbers, and it's pretty clear. And it tells you about the investment. And then that's why you need a local realtor to tell you about what's going on in the area, like what
the rents are like,
what the rents are like.
What's the jobs like, what's the median income.
Because one that produces the same cash flow on 2 different streets, I'm going to tell you which one is the better investment based on the street it's on and reasons why. But it's a pretty clear-cut form that really helps. And you can run your own properties like this or any city. It's pretty...
And if you're a real estate bear and you think prices are going to go down a lot more, then put your money in a GIC. This is just another option, right? It's just no one's forcing you to do it. It's just
no, I know.
Yeah, because I know people come and say, "Hey, you guys are realtors. You're just saying that," but we run numbers for people, and if they feel good about it, they take advantage of it, and they don't.
Yeah,
they don't buy it.
Exactly.
Anyways, so I guess long story short, rates are in the 6s right now. Probably going to be in the 2s. Sorry, never going back to the 2s. It's going to be in the 2s, guaranteed. No, it's going to be in the 4s, never in the 2s. But we're probably going to see it go back to the 4s in a couple of years. So
they said they were going to cut as of April. So then we go down to I guess because we're plus 2.
No,
okay, never mind.
No, we won't be in the 4s next year.
No,
a couple of years. I think you can get
the overnight rate.
You can get an insured rate, which means that you have less than 20% down. I think there was something at like 4.99.
Yeah, I saw one. Actually, I saw one at 4.74. 4.74. These are insured mortgages. If
you have to pay a premium on that because of its
it's 4% rolled over into your mortgage.
Yeah.
I wonder what the difference is.
Yeah.
Lower rate.
But you only have a 25-year AM, so your monthly payment is more because
you don't know what we're talking about right now because we're going a little bit quick. Literally, just come DM us.
Yeah, we'll tell you. I actually had someone DM me like, "What's an assignment?"
Yeah, very good.
I was like, "Oh, that's cool. I'll tell you."
You know what? I did a video one time that got so many views that I did the ABCs of real estate. So I did like appraisal, and then I did like assignment, and then like whatever, and then like I went down and like
basis point,
like all the ones that you wouldn't like know off the top of your head. People like actually thought it was helpful because I don't realize how many, because we live in this world and we talk so much real estate that people are like, "What are you talking about?"
I know.
So I try to be as helpful as humanly possible with.
Yeah. But also sometimes I think it's good when everyone doesn't know what we're talking about because then they hire us because they think knowledge is power. Okay, last one here. So I did a video on this, not quite the same topic, but it's like got over like 230,000 views right now. That green screen, I do my green screens in my closet because it has good lighting.
You do what? You do it in your closet?
Yeah, and it has like sometimes I look at the views and I'm like, I can't believe this garnished for 10 minutes of my time in a closet.
You sat in your closet.
Well, no, I like stand up. But
anytime you see a video,
did you see a green screen? I'm in my closet. Yeah, because the lighting is good. I don't know why. I should have kept that to myself. Anyways, okay, so it was basically about international students and Indian students not applying here because housing is so bad. That was essentially the premise.
Mm-hmm.
And people are like really taking a liking to it and, arguing in the comments and just, saying Canada's to blame. You let too many people in way too fast. You don't have a housing plan. And why Canada loves international students is because the tuition fees are 3x that of a domestic student. So if Brooke went to, say she went to Western University as an example, and I was from a different country, Brooke would pay 10 grand and I'd pay 30 grand in tuition. That's not the actual numbers, but I would pay a lot more than Brooke because I'm an international student. So these institutions love international students. So they come here, they have to show that they have $10,000 for housing, which is not a lot of money. And basically what's happening is they're getting here all excited, and then they're trying to find a place, and there's no chance they're finding anything. So a lot of international students are living in tents.
That's so sad.
There's 3 of them living in like a basement apartment or something, or there's 1 bedroom and there's 3 single beds. It's really sad. The reality of it is really, really bad.
And it's crazy because like we hear these stories and just like going about our day, like you don't really see too much of it.
No,
just
you
as
don't.
you like kind of go through and, in Oakville where we live. And it's like, I guess in Toronto mainly, which I'm not downtown Toronto a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy that you hear these stories and it's like right in our backyard, like we're literally where they are. And it's just like, you don't know how badly these people are struggling. So
so you know what the beautiful thing about media is that it's putting a lot of pressure on the government. So the government of Canada announced new measures to restrict the number of permits. Starting next year, applicants will have to show twice as much cash reserves for their cost of living. So they're going to have to show 20,000, just over 20,000 this time. Also, the immigration minister who once said that they're not going to cap the international students now said that institutions need to have a plan if they're going to allow international students in. They said they will get involved.
Don't they stay in residence their first year?
I think like you can stay in residence. I know because when I went to university, I picked that option, but there's only so many res rooms available. Like I remember at Western, they were building more res rooms because they just didn't have enough. They were building a new nursing center.
What res were you in Western?
I actually can't remember the name of it. It was so long ago.
And there was the party one.
Oh, that was Saugeen. I wasn't in that one. No.
I thought you would be part of Saugeen.
Party boy.
Yeah.
No, I'm slowing down. I'm 30 now.
You're slowing down as of a week ago.
Yeah, I told you.
A week ago, last week.
Right, let's not talk about my social life.
No, it's fun. People want to know you. People want to know you.
Okay.
Anyways. Because working very hard lately.
I'm not an alcoholic. Jesus. Oh, it was a long summer. Let's just leave it at that. So let's get back to what we were talking about here. So the immigration minister basically is saying that we're going to cap international students because it just got out of hand. But also then you have this drop in applications. So you just have this system that has completely failed, which we've talked about for a long time. And I know Foch has talked about it too.
Yeah.
It's just crazy that's coming to fruition faster than I ever thought.
Yeah.
Like this is like we started this podcast 8 months ago, and I remember talking about how crazy international students is, and I'm like, they're going to cap it. Like it's just it's too bananas, or people are going to call back home. You actually said that they're texting their buddies back home saying, "Don't come. It's not worth it. It's cold. We're living in tents.
Cold.
We're going to
Did
food
you see
banks."
that video on Instagram where he's like, "I'm going back to Africa."
Yeah, get the hell out of here.
Like, what is this white stuff? This sucks.
But yeah, I guess the moral of the story is that, we totally miscounted the amount of international students, but now applications are even down.
Yeah.
Because what does a degree really do for you anymore if it's not very specialized? Like a business degree doesn't do a lot for you. You got to go get a master's. You got to go to college and get a specialization.
Yeah.
Don't even get me started on philosophy degrees. I can't even believe they're a thing.
Don't be mean.
Sorry.
What if people have philosophy degrees and love what they do?
I know a lot of guys who got philosophy degrees.
Are they philosophical?
They're not. It's the only.
They
failed out of everything else. They're very street smart. So that they did well in life, but they failed out of everything else. So that was their last hope. Yeah. So that's kind of where you go down and trickle. You just make the parents happy, sort of thing.
Got it.
But yeah, a lot of colleges are just giving out these diplomas that really aren't worth much, in my opinion, in the job market in Canada. And yeah.
Well, okay, so we were talking to somebody that was even talking about his hometown in
Winnipeg.
Manitoba. Yeah. How a lot of people are going there now because the PR status, right? You get a PR
Yeah, you
status
can get
pretty
a
quickly.
PR quicker there than if you came to like Brampton, he was saying. But he also said that he said it's very stereotypical, but what a lot of them will do is they'll come to college for like a year or something.
Yeah.
And they'll drop out and become a truck driver because those guys are making 10 to 12 grand a month and they just need quick cash.
They need, exactly. Yeah. But then you can't get your PR status if you don't get your diploma and then actually work in the same field. So if you, let's say, get a geography degree or something and then you go become a truck driver, then it's not the same degree, so you wouldn't be granted your PR. So that's what Ontario, I guess, and everywhere else other than Saskatchewan and Manitoba has implemented. So now more people are actually going out there, which is interesting because if more people go to like Winnipeg, for example, like the infrastructure in Manitoba and Saskatchewan is nothing compared to other provinces. So does that actually build up Canada? Like look how much land we have, for example. Yeah. We're talking about building garden suites. Like it's not like we have to build garden suites. We do because our cities and our infrastructure are so tight and there's only these little cities. Look at the US. They have a way better use of their space with their infrastructure. So I wonder if, things get built up quicker in other provinces because the amount of population versus the amount of land we have is it's ridiculous.
It is, yeah. You're totally right. And I know a lot of land, it's cold in different areas where people are like, oh, there's nothing there. There's nothing to do there. But you know what? Like there's still spring, there's still fall, there's still summer, there's still things that you can do. You have to make society productive. And when society's productive, more good things happen, right? You get more EV plants. Everyone wants electric cars and they're the future. Well, you got to invest in that.
With our population and our level of traffic and people everywhere, I cannot imagine what it's like in India or China or Indonesia, like all these places that have a billion people. It boggles my mind.
Yeah, so
we have 40 million in a second biggest country in the world, and that is not even a tenth of what not even a tenth.
Yeah, so I want to hit on this quickly too, just before we wrap it up here. So the Loonie Hour, shout out to them. I want to talk about the carbon tax and I want to talk about climate change. So I'm not saying I deny climate change. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that the carbon tax, it punishes people here. We're a country of 40 million people, right? The States doesn't have a carbon tax.
Mexico doesn't have it.
Then you have China, who is at a record building coal plants, which coal is really bad for the environment. They've got, I think it was over 240 coal plants or something like that being built this year alone. You have billions of people there. It's cheaper to burn coal. So think about this. Think about India. Think about China, Malaysia, all these countries with a lot more people than us. And we're punishing a small country of 40,000 people.
40 million.
40 million. we're punishing our country that is not even putting a drop in the bucket of pollution versus the other countries. So even if
into our oil reserves.
Yeah, even if we become, carbon neutral, I think the term is, because I'm not too versed on this, but I just want to make this clear because it was very eye-opening to me. Yeah. Even if we become carbon neutral, you still have these other countries with billions of people polluting. We're not going to change climate change ourselves. So the carbon tax right now, it's just hurting Canadians more than it is doing anything else. Mic drop.
I was thinking about it. Because I also, like, as much as that is true, okay, and I don't support the carbon tax right now because everyone's struggling with the interest rates and stuff, so it's like all at once. Yeah. I get the idea behind it because it's like pointing your finger and be like, hey, they don't do it and we're smaller, so why are we going to do it? It's like, I like the idea of like still do the right thing even if they're not doing it, because then maybe it slowly starts to change the world. And that's, I think, what some people have in mind. Like, I'm going to slowly, even if it doesn't happen over a decade, slowly start to change the world because these are the practices that we're going to adopt and we want to save the planet for our future generations. Yeah. I hear it. It's like, oh, they're not doing it, so why should we? But I don't see, like, right now, people are already hurting. People are out of their houses. Yeah. I just bought a house for my client, $40,000 under what the sellers had bought it for. Like, so sadly to say, we're at my clients, but like, I represent my clients and it's sad, right? They took a loss. Like, that happens everywhere.
Did you see that couple that walked away from that place in Kitchener or something? And they walked away from $140,000 worth of deposit. And they said they were happy to get out of the contract. Do you know how long it would take for like the average couple making 80 to 100 grand a year to save up $140K? And they were happy to walk away from it because the place bled so much in value, they way overpaid. Like it's just so
and then
sad.
the carbon tax on top of it. So it's just like the perfect storm, especially for millennials. So I see why people are just like, I hate Trudeau because I never expected that I have $1 in my account at the end of every month and I'm barely making it by. And this is not the life that I envisioned for myself, for my kids, or whatever the case may be. But I do like see, like when I listen to it and carbon tax, it's like, it is real climate change. And if it keeps going the way things have been going and China's doing that, it's like, there's going to be an end to our planet eventually. Right. So
it's interesting. It's a hard subject, but it's also something that you got to talk about because it doesn't make sense.
It's tough, and I'm not obviously taking like that's why I'm very non-opinionated. I'm more like facts driven, and that's what keeps me not getting hate comments.
Yeah, like what are you supposed to do? You're not supposed to heat your home because
and that's why I like to be like facts of both opinions, both sides, and here they are, and I don't even take one. It's just like I try to help where I can, and
anyways,
that's that.
We just try to educate people.
That's what I'm here to do. I'm not taking sides because when I do, I get haters sometimes.
We always get haters. We're gonna do a podcast next week, right? Before Christmas.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's the holidays.
Yeah, it is the holidays.
The holidays.
Yeah. So, anyways, some good stuff in that podcast. I know we usually talk about negative stuff, but more density coming to BC. Rates look like they've peaked. Inflation's coming down.
Brooke's back.
You don't have to see me all over your Instagram.
There was a time where I screenshotted the Instagram and every single picture was a picture of Cortez. I was like, hey.
I was a single mother. I was washing and drying. I was tired. Anyways, that's all we got for you guys. I hope you like this episode. We're happy to be back. We'll be back right before Christmas.
The holiday edition.
Yeah, we'll do it.
Let's do a holiday edition. Let's talk.
We will.
Let's have some like
gratefulness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Buzzword. And then we'll keep this thing rolling. We're excited for 2024.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching. If you're on any of the platforms, you know what to do. Follow us. And again, click that link down below if you want to book a free call with us. If you just want to chat about the market, it's a buyer or seller call. Don't book it.
You get to see Cortez's closet.
Yeah. I'll show you the closet where I film my
Do you do our calls in the closet?
No. That's I'm normal there. I sit on the couch, but the lighting is just better. My condo is very mood lighting. So but don't book a call if you're trying to sell us something. We don't need that.
Yeah, somebody booked a call and tried to sell us something. We're just like, we're here to talk about the market and like hang out with you. We don't want to be sold.
No.
Unless you have like, I'm not even going to tell you.
Yeah, unless you want to sponsor us or something.
Stop it.
Okay,
we are here to give education. Don't make our people mad.
And sponsor.
We're not actually here to try to pick people up. I'm here to like tell people.
Yeah, help people. Yeah. That's the goal of this. Yeah. All right. Thanks so much, guys. We'll see you next week before Christmas. Bye.